Hello, everyone. This is Alicia Johnson, the creator of the 1212 community. And I am coming here just like I always do when God gives me a message. So, for those of you who are just checking us out, who are just catching maybe the replay or just catching this for the first time, I am the creator of a community called the 1212 community. And this 1212 community is all about helping everyone who chooses to recalibrate their lives 12 hours for God and 12 hours for man. And we do this so that the world does not have so much power over our lives. We are conditioned to give the world everything that the world needs and wants. But we have a tendency not to do the same things for ourselves. And so, this is my goal, this is my mission, this is my assignment to help everyone to recalibrate their lives 12 hours for God and 12 hours for man, rendering unto Caesar what is Caesar's and rendering unto God what is God's on a daily basis, not just when you have the chance on a weekend or when you can fit it into your schedule. We need that balance every day. And that is what this work is about. Good morning, everyone. I actually see people popping in. Happy Saturday to you all. And thank you so much for joining me this morning. How long this talk will be, I have no idea. I'm just doing exactly what God is telling me to do. And we're just going to sit here. And if you want to join me on the live, you can. You can pop into the live if you want to, if you have things you want to discuss as it relates to today's topic. So today's topic is your eyes and provision. Provision is a huge topic for me, simply because provision is a very powerful resource that we all possess. A powerful resource that we all possess. And when you understand this powerful resource, then you are able to move through your life quite differently. You're able to move through your life in a way that most people do not understand. When you're able to understand the power of provision, money becomes simply a tool. Money becomes simply a tool that you use and is one form of provision that heaven affords you. And so today is our opportunity to understand more of what that looks like. And when you begin to understand the power of provision in your life, you'll begin to understand that the world wants to keep you stuck with identifying and working with money only. And when you are working with money only, then you are limited as to how you can move. But today is the day that I want to free as many people as possible, as many people as possible as I can with this call. This is something that is very important to me, and we're actually going to start what I want to call a provision school. Provision school is going to be for those who are interested in operating from a higher level, operating from a level that helps you to use money only when money is necessary and to begin to see everything that is available to you. So we're going to have some fun today with this topic. So your eyes and provision. So one of the things that God began to work with me on was helping me to understand that we use our eyes wrong. We use our eyes wrong. We use our eyes in such a way that we limit ourselves. We limit ourselves to seeing only the things that we want to see. We limit ourselves to doing the things that only we want to do. And when we begin to understand the power and the truth of who God has created us to be, we begin to show up differently. We begin to show up in a way that is very powerful. We begin to show up in a way that others really probably don't understand. And when you begin to understand this, when you begin to understand the truth of who God has created you to be, you begin to understand that the world systems are meant to restrict you and not to empower you. But the problem is that most of us have gotten so caught up in what the world wants us to do that by the time we realize that we're stuck, we feel that we are in too deeply and we can't turn it around. But this is your opportunity to take the time today to learn how to turn all of these things around in a way that is, how can I put it, not so taxing, not so painful, and not so draining. A lot of times people don't want to do the changes, people don't want to make changes, or people don't know how to make changes without disrupting everything that they have put in place. Your mortgage, your children, your neighborhood, all of the things that you have in place. A lot of times we're in so deep that we just, say, look, I'll just ride this until the end. I'm not going to try to change anything. I've got too many people attached to this thing. Do you know how many people feel smothered and just trapped because they have created worlds that they thought that they wanted, and because they have created these worlds, so many people have become attached to these worlds that they feel guilty about, like, ripping the rug from underneath people. So what I mean by that is that this is something for me personally. This is Alicia Johnson personally. This is not for anybody else. This is for me. But if it applies to you, then so be it. A lot of times people say things that sound like they're bragging. They say things that sound like they just have it all together, and that things are just, how can I put it? In this society, people are bosses. People are, I'm in control of my destiny. I do this. I take care of my household. I do all of these things. And people scare me when they start to say things like, I've retired my spouse, or I hired this. My kids will never have to work a day in their lives because I've set this up. I've done all of these things. That's a lot of pressure, y'all. That is a lot of pressure. If you are the person who has retired people, if you are the person who has taken on everyone else's responsibility so that they don't have to work, so that they don't have to learn their own lessons, so that they don't have to get their hands dirty, so they don't have to do all of the things, it sounds good. It sounds good in the world when you are trying to heal people from your personal trauma. But people need to go through things. People need to learn things. Your kids need to know how to make their own mistakes. Your kids need to know how to make their own money. Your kids need to understand there's a balance to everything. There's a balance to everything. I really don't think you know how to become a good employer until you have become an employee. I don't feel that you can become a good healed person until you have suffered some sort of illness. Like, it's easy to tell people how to do things that you've never had to encounter. It's easy to tell people how to create things when you've never really had to start from where they are. And this is why this work in this community is so important, because we factor in everything that you've experienced. Me telling you to forgive, or me telling you to cite certain affirmations, me telling you to do all of these things because they worked for me, is not going to help you if I don't understand what you've been through. And so this is why it's very important that you put your finger on the pulse of your own life. Your own life. Stop listening to the 12 steps that people have for you. Stop listening to the 3 steps that people have for you. Stop listening to the hacks and the shortcuts and all of the things, because you may need the hack. You may need what the hack is trying to hack away. You may need what the shortcut is trying to circumvent. Everyone's journey is different, and everyone's journey is valuable. Do not shortchange your assignment. Do not shortchange your journey. You're going to have to go through things. You're going to have to endure things. That's how you build up your faith. That's how you build up your character. That's how you live and grow and learn to understand the presence of God, and how God is an ever-present help. You don't need help if you're shortcutting all of the pain. You don't need help if you're trying to hack away all of the things that are meant to grow you. And this is why your eyes and provision are so important. God began to deal with me. When you think about your eyes are so powerful. This society is getting it really twisted. When you think about the way vision works so that you see outwardly. You see what's in front of you. You see what's around you. Your eyes are not focused on you. Your eyes are not outside of your head looking at you. Your eyes are here to assist you in helping you to place your vision, your assignment, your gift, your blessing in different locations so that you can see where you are placing yourself. You can see the direction that you're moving in. You can see where heaven is guiding you. It's like your eyes are like headlights, so you can see what's in front of you. This world has turned this around so much that your eyes are on you all of the time. Pay attention. This isn't just something I'm making up. This isn't look at it for yourself. Everyone's in a selfie mode. Everyone's looking at themselves. Everyone is, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. I didn't get the likes. I didn't get the hearts. I didn't get this. I didn't get that. I didn't get... Failing to look out to see what it is that you were supposed to give. What were you supposed to bring? What were you supposed to provide? What were you supposed to do? So many people give up on their assignments too soon, and this is how heaven separates. This is how heaven categorizes. People give up things too soon because they don't see the financial return on investment. And 9 times out of 10, the investment that heaven is looking for before heaven rewards you with the money is how great is your faith. Is your faith contingent on your return on investment? Is your faith contingent on how much you cleared? Is your faith contingent on the balance sheet? See, the world operates differently than heaven, and you have to decide if you're operating in the world or if you're operating in heaven, because the two do not coexist well. You cannot take heavenly principles and apply them to the world, and you cannot take worldly principles and apply them to heaven and expect everything to run smoothly. You have to choose. Provision is one of those choices. You choose to operate under provision or you choose to operate under money, but you cannot have both. Provision is where heaven steps in and guides you through the entire process and uses the entire universe to get everything to you that you need for your assignment. Money is what the world uses to categorize and to put you in systems and to put you in categories and to deal and to establish your esteem or your worth based on the dollar amount. But when you start to use your eyes to see the truth of what heaven wants to provide you, you will never look at money the same again. And everyone has what they need. Everything has been encoded in the process to give you what you need in order to live the life that God has provided or planned for you, so that you can have everything that you need to move through this thing called life. Some people's lives don't require gazillions of dollars. Some people's assignments are so big that $20,000 a month isn't enough for them. But this is where you have to put your finger on the pulse of who God has created you to be, so that you understand what is needed for your life. What's needed for your life? Not my life, not someone's life that you have looked at on social media, not someone you're following, but your life. And this is why I consistently ask people, what is the number that heaven has given you? What is the number that heaven has given you? And you will find that number when you ask. Ask heaven how much, and don't just pull some arbitrary number out of the sky. Allow heaven to deposit that number within your heart, so that you know that this is the number for me. God may deposit something strange in your heart. God may say something like, I need you to make 33 cents every second. Or I may need you to make $7 every time someone says this word. Or I may need you to make this amount every time you show up here. Or I may need you to make whatever and it's going to be unique to who you are. And the reason I am stressing the fact that you need to know your number, because when you know your number, you know when you have connected with heaven. When you know the world's number, you're going to miss out on opportunities that the world will say pass by. And I've heard this so many times that it is comical to me. And y'all let me know, chime in as you feel. This is funny to me when people say things like, I've made a gazillion dollars over the last 6 months. I've made 7 figures in the last 6 weeks. And yet they're still out here selling things and doing things and trying to convince you to do things. But then the reason I bring this up is because I believe everyone needs to work. I believe everyone needs to to show up and to do things that need to be, to keep your life vibrant. I think everyone needs to do that. But when you're talking out of both sides of your neck, I have a problem with that. There are people that are saying that all you need to have to retire is like $5 or $6 million in the bank or whatever it is if you're at a certain age. And then there are people that are saying that I've made this $10 million, but they're still working. And you're like, well, if the world is saying this is all I need, but you're still talking about more, like, where is the balance? At what point can I sit and enjoy life? At what point can I slow down? At what point can I stop hustling and grinding? At what point? The world doesn't make sense. The world doesn't make sense. And when you begin to understand that the world's job is not to make sense, then you're going to learn to stop listening to the world. The world's job is not to make you feel comfortable. The world's job is not to make you complacent. The world's job is to keep you in confusion, and the world does that very well. But when you get tired of confusion, when you get tired of all of those things, and you get tired of spinning on that hamster wheel, what do? What do you do? I was that person. I was that person where there has got to be more to life than this. This is absolutely ridiculous. And I began to wake up to understand that I don't really want everything that the world wants. I really don't. I really do not want everything that the world wants. Do you want what the world wants? Be honest. This is the place where you can be honest, open and honest. Half of the stuff that the world shows you, do you even want it? Or by default, do you want it because you don't know what you want? Do you want these things because you haven't established what it is that you want in your life? This is why provision is so important. Because when God started to deal with me and I started to really identify the things that I really wanted in my life, I began to realize that these are things that the world can't even give me. These are things that the world can't even give me. There are reasons that we have to go into the world to purchase things, to do things, to provide for ourselves. But when you are not understanding the truth of what it is that you need in your life, you're going to be out of balance and you're going to give more to Caesar than Caesar deserves. This is why provision is my jam. Provision, oh my God, I love some provision. I love provision because when you're operating in provision, hear me on this. Provision cannot be taxed. Did y'all hear me? What did I say? Provision cannot be taxed. Provision cannot be traced. Provision cannot be tracked. Come on now. See, the world wants you to go after things that the world can trace, track, and tax. It cannot. Because see, when heaven does a thing, heaven does it so smoothly that it is for you and for you only. And the world does things based on the masses. Because see, it doesn't benefit the world to just go after one person, because that one person is not going to yield the results that the world wants. See, the world wants to put out a whole dragnet so the world can get a whole bunch of people, so that the world believes in numbers. See, it's not good enough to get one person and have that one person pay a $50 fine. But see, if you got 500,000 people paying a $50 fine, do the math. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of resources. That's a lot of power. But see, when you step into the truth of understanding the power of provision, you have got to learn to move differently. Because your provision is earmarked just for you. See, because the provision is just for you, there's certain things that you have to do just for you. And this is why this work in this community is so important to me. Because see, in order to understand the provision and the power and the things that you have to do, you're going to have to rise up early to hear what it is that heaven is saying to you. This is why we consistently have our 5 a.m. journaling calls. So that you can start each and every day with what it is that you need to do. See, for me, one of the things that was hemming me up, and one of the things that was tripping me up, and one of the things that was messing me up was the traditional church. The traditional church was keeping me away from my blessings. And I say that boldly. And the reason that I say this is because the traditional church teaches us that you can get away pretty much with life. You can get through this life with a Wednesday night Bible study. And I don't know, somebody give me the history of the Wednesday night Bible study. I don't know why Bible study had to be on a Wednesday night, but it was the Wednesday night Bible study. And I'm sure that it tied back into slavery or something back in those days. And we never made the adjustment. But it was a Wednesday night Bible study. Some of my historical scholars on here, if y'all can share that with me, the historical reasons for the things that we do. And I was actually thinking that I could get by and live this entire life with a Wednesday night Bible study and a Sunday morning service. God said, you know, there are other days in the week. And you don't just pray in the morning when you wake. See, and then that's the other thing. My prayer life was killing me. Because, see, I did not have a finger on the pulse of the life that God had given me. Do you know how many times I prayed prayers that I had just heard and I had memorized, and I was just praying it out of rote? Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will. Y'all know it. And I was praying that prayer because I was taught that prayer, and I was taught to pray that prayer because I did not know how to understand and to operate from a heavenly perspective, from a personal way. I didn't have a personal relationship with heaven. And then this is the thing that is so powerful. When you surround yourself with people who are churched so much, they will ruin your personal relationship with God if you do not learn to separate yourself from them. See, when I started to have a personal relationship with God and I started to speak to God in a language that I understood and I started to communicate with heaven in a way that felt good for me, then my really Christian Bible thumping friends would say things like, chapter and verse, chapter and verse. I need to know what chapter and verse that is. If it's not in the Bible, then I don't know where you're getting it from. And it made me question my whole existence. But see, when you start to operate in the truth of who God has created you to be, heaven will provide everything that you need. So during that time period, this is the power of provision in my life. See, at that time when God was dealing with me on hearing from heaven, at that time when God was dealing with me on understanding the truth of who heaven had created me to be, a lot of times people want to throw money at everything to get a solution for things that money cannot solve. See, at that time, a lot of times when you are in a space where you want to know more from heaven and you want to know more from God and you want to know more about the inner workings of heaven, sometimes you have to put that checkbook down. You have to put down that checkbook so that you can actually hear and understand what it is that heaven wants to get to you. You have to put that checkbook down so that you can understand more of the truth of who God has created you to be. See, when I was getting that thing, I need scripture and verse, I need this, I need that, I started questioning everything. And then I was like, well, maybe I'm going to the wrong church. Maybe I'm not tithing enough. Maybe I'm not hearing from God. Maybe I'm not doing this. But see, God cleared that up for me real good because God provides you everything that you need at the time that you need it. So during this time period, I went to church, and during this time period, this church that I was going through, they would have a special service in the month of May for every Wednesday in the month of May. And I'll never forget this one visiting pastor. He came, and you got to pay attention. When God tells you to move, you need to move. Radical obedience is what moves you through the process. Radical obedience is what leads you to provision. Radical obedience is what gives you everything that you need. A lot of times people are missing what they need simply because. My God. God gives you everything that you need. So I went to church this night because God told me to go. And I went to this church and I was listening to the sermon and I was like, okay, yeah, he's good. He's all right. I guess I don't even understand why I'm here, but it's okay. But see, this was the time when God was helping me to understand that if God has told you to do something and God has instructed you to do something, it's in the Bible. But see, a lot of times people will try to trip you up because they don't understand what God is doing in your life. So stop limiting yourself based on somebody else's limited understanding. So I was at this church and I went because God told me to go, and it was at the end of the service. And the pastor said, from Genesis to Revelation. He said, as far as I know, I don't believe that Revelations has happened, and the Bible is from Genesis to Revelations. And until Revelations comes to pass, then we all are in there. Y'all, we are all books of the Bible. We are all living epistles. Now, how you live your life is your business. How that book shows up in the Bible, even Judas is in the Bible. There are thieves in the Bible. There are rapists and murderers in the Bible. There are child molesters in the Bible. You determine what your living epistle says. You determine what your book in the Bible says. But see, the key is a lot of times people discredit their book in the Bible because a lot of times their books are not chosen by the world. Does that mean that you stop living because somebody hasn't chosen your book? That means you leave an even greater imprint. So when people do find your book, they're like, why wasn't this in there? How many of you have actually read the books that are not in the Bible? How many of you have read the book, honey? The book of Thomas is one of them. The book of there were so many books that the Catholic Bible has the book of wisdom. There are a lot of different books that are not in the Bible. That when I read them, I was like, who said that this should not be in here? This book helped me better more than some of the books that are in the Bible. who said this book shouldn't be in here? There are books that did not make the cut for whatever reasons they didn't make it. But that doesn't mean that they're not relevant. It doesn't mean that it's not relevant. This is how so many of us live our lives, by thinking we're not relevant because someone else has not chosen us. Honey, at this age, at this point in my life, I am too old to wait on people to choose me. I am too old to wait on people to say that they accept me. I'm just too old. And I refuse to wait another day to not do the things that I want to do or need to do because I'm waiting on someone else. Who else out here cannot wait another day longer to be chosen? Provision. Provision. Provision is going to get you through this process. Today is the day that you decide that you are refusing to wait one more day for someone else to choose you. But see, a lot of times we're handicapped from making these decisions because of the life that we have boxed ourselves into, and we don't really know how to move. Well, one of the keys to moving through this process is radical obedience. One of the keys to moving through this process is radical obedience. Y'all share this out. Y'all share this ain't just for the 12-12 community. This just ain't for, the people that are in this group. This is for everybody. I want everybody within the sound of my voice, everybody who crosses my path. That's another thing. Pay attention to everything and everyone who crosses your path. From a heavenly perspective. It's different. This is why a lot of people miss opportunities, because people have become so savvy with how the world works. People have become so savvy with how marketing and all those things work that they really dismiss the real things that have crossed their path. On earth as it is in heaven, for everything in the natural, there's a parallel and corresponding occurrence in the supernatural. Where do you think they got the idea from? It came from heaven first. See, everything that happens here on earth is spiritual, but it's corrupt. Think about it. God was the first person, the first entity, the first being, if you will, to understand subliminal marketing. See, heaven will deposit something down in your spirit. Heaven will whisper something in your ear. Heaven will show you something out of the corner of your eye. Heaven will allow something to appear in the atmosphere. And it's like, oh my God, where'd that come from? Why am I feeling this? Why am I thinking this? And see, that's how heaven influences you to move. That's how heaven influences you to do things and to be radically obedient. But see, the world is watching the spirit realm. The world is watching those who are operating in the spirit so that they can replicate that thing artificially in the natural. And because people are so weak spiritually, they are gravitating towards the natural and avoiding the supernatural. Because see, the world can market it in such a way so that you feel more comfortable with it. But when heaven does the very same thing, that's spooky. That's scary. That's not something you need to deal with. Today is the day that you turn all around. Today is the day that you begin to understand the truth of who God has created you to be. When you begin to understand this, your entire life is going to change. What do you do on a daily basis that positions you in a way that keeps you along the path that heaven has set for you so that provision is easy to get to you? See, a lot of times people don't understand the power of provision because they are on the wrong road. They are on the wrong path. The only way you're going to understand the power of provision is if you show up for yourself every day. Not just on Sunday, not just for Wednesday night Bible study, not just when people have workshops and conferences, but every day. And show up for things of value every day. See, the world has gotten so slick that the world doesn't even have to show you or the world doesn't even have to be a product of the product anymore. The world can basically tell you what to do and watch you do it like little puppets. Oh, I didn't say that was going to work. I just wanted to see if you were going to do it. I didn't say it was that. Hey, read the fine print. The fine print will tell you. How many times have you read the fine print and it says something like results are not typical? Like you can listen to what I say, but I ain't guaranteeing nothing. See, when you begin to take your eyes off of yourself and you begin to see the things that heaven wants to show you, then you'll begin to understand that heaven has encoded everything that you need to get through the process. But when you start to look at things from the perspective of what other people can give you or what you can get from other people, then you're going to miss it every time. Give me some things. Give me some things today that you're looking for God to do for you. Please put it in the chat. What are you looking for? I don't care what it is. If you're looking for a trip to the Bahamas and you don't have the natural resources for it, or if you're looking for the house and you don't have the natural resources for it, are you stopping because of that? Are you so limited in your thinking that all you have is money? Is money the solution to everything that you're looking for? See, for me, that used to be my trip to my sister's graduation. Let's do that one. Where is the sister's graduation? I don't know how far it is. How far is it? What do you need for the graduation? What is it that's blocking you from getting to your sister's graduation? Let's work this one out if you're willing to work it out. It's in California. That's all connected. Traveling, retirement, just having fun and doing whatever I want. Okay. It's in California. When is the graduation? Has God laid on your heart that you should be at the graduation? Is this something that you want to do, or is this something that God is telling you you need to do? Those are the determining factors. See, a lot of times we have things that we want to do. We have things that we want to do, and then there are things that God requires us to do. So this is one of the first determining factors. Is this something that you want to do, or is this something that God is telling you to do? Yes, you should be there and you desire to go. Then that's it. That's all. That settles it. See, when God gives and places a desire within your heart, that's a done deal. How it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and then also you got to pay attention to the deadline. Mid-September, give me the date. Give me the date. Mid-September, give me the date. September 15th, September 16th. See, these are the things that as you're operating from provision, you have to understand the parameters within which you are working. Pay attention. So you know that if the desire that God has given you has a definite date by mid-September, and you know that in order for you to get there, you have to be on that plane the second Sunday in September, so that the very last day that heaven can really do anything to make that happen would be Saturday, the second Saturday in September. You see where I'm going with this? So if that date, let's say, is September 17th, then you give heaven up until September 16th to see if God won't do it. But you have got to be open to everything that heaven gives you up until the date has passed. When I tell you that I have witnessed God doing things up to the final hour of the due date, don't you count God out. Don't you count God out. And see, provision can come in a myriad of ways if you're looking for the time and the money. See, the provision can come in the form of, hey girl, I got some extra points on my airfare, on my American Airlines or Delta, and I can't use them and they're gonna expire. Do you know anybody who can use these? Yeah, hello. Girl, listen. God just laid it on my heart. I don't know why, but I'm just supposed to send you this. You have a fender. These are all true stories. These are plays out of my playbook. You have a fender bender. Ain't nothing wrong with your car that you can visibly see, but there obviously was an accident. So you get to go to the insurance company and collect the check for something that you know you ain't gonna get fixed because you can't even see it. And nobody is hurt, nobody is harmed, nothing is damaged to your visual eyes. The car runs fine, the car is paid off, so you know you ain't gonna put that money into it. Boom, there you go. It can come in the form of a refund. And as for the time piece, God is the creator of time. God is not bound by time. So today is the day that you open your entire soul up. You open your entire heart up to receive whatever it is that heaven wants to get to you as it relates to you getting to your sister's graduation. And the beautiful part about this is that you get the opportunity to document the provision as it comes. And it's very important that you do the documentation, because the documentation is going to help to solidify future assignments. See, don't just take this one assignment as a one-off. Take this as an indicator of what heaven wants to do for you in some of the most extreme circumstances. And when you have your documentation, when the real tests come, because see, this right here is not a real test from heaven. See, when heaven gives you a real test, heaven gives you the pop quizzes before. You let me be a living witness for you. See, if God had not given me the pop quizzes before, if God had not given me the little tests before, if God had not given me the opportunity before to see the power of provision in my life, this assignment that we are on right here, right now, I would have flunked with flying colors. But when I tell you that provision is encoded in the process, believe me. See, when heaven knows that you are prepared for something, heaven will turn that thing around and change your entire life just like that. When I tell you that when God has turned our entire lives upside down, literally overnight, just like that. But heaven says, I can entrust you with this right now. I know that you can get through this right now. I know that you can handle this right now. I know that you're going to be fine on the other side of this right now because you have passed all of the other tests. See, heaven can't entrust you with anything bigger if you can't handle the smaller things. Provision is God's gift to you. The world doesn't want you to understand provision because the world wants you to remain weak. See, the world just wants you to keep looking. I don't have the money. 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 You looking over here. I don't have the money. I don't have the money. I don't have. And God is like, look over here. Look at all of the resources I provided for you. But then you like, I don't have the money. I don't have the money. God's like, turn around. Turn around. You're looking in the wrong direction. How many of you are looking in the wrong direction? How many of you are looking at your gurus? How many of you are looking at your pastors? How many of you are looking at your employer? How many of you are looking at the people that seem like they have it all? And if I can just do what they're doing, then I can get through it too. If I can just affirm the way that they're affirming, if I can just invest the way that they're investing, if I can just do what they're doing. God said, look away from all of that, turn around. Your provision is in the other direction. Your provision. See, you're not going to be able to find your provision. See, a lot of times people are looking for their provision between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. They're looking for their provision between that workday. They're looking for their provision between if I can just get to this, if I can just invest in that, if I can just do this, and if I can do this. Pay attention. If you have ruined your life between the hours of 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. by spending money you don't have, working hours that you can't work, stressing yourself out, dealing with all of the world's problems, then my dears, you are not going to be able to heal yourself in the same time frame. If you've messed your life up between 3 and 5 p.m., then it behooves you greatly to start to get up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. to turn it around. You are not going to heal yourself in the same hours that you hurt yourself. Pay attention. Pay attention. Somebody on here is one provision away from a different life. Just one. One act of provision away from a different life. But see, a lot of times heaven is not hiding the provision. Heaven has placed the provision right in front of you, but you turned the wrong way. Everyone who crosses my path, I get so excited when people cross my path because I know that God has sent you. If our paths have crossed for a reason. And see, I'm too old to teach you and to share things with you that are just going to tickle your ears. Because I ain't got that kind of time. I'm probably an my messages probably turn more people away than it does draw them to me. But I don't even care because I got work to do. I am not going to spend the rest of my life trying to reel people in with messages that are going to make them feel good. I don't care how you feel. I'm over that. I don't need the like. See, this is where a lot of people miss the opportunity to live powerfully because they're watering down what they need to say. They are adjusting what they need to do to fit into an algorithm. You can't say this, you can't do that, you can't say this, you can't. And you know how many times, in the world, people are like, oh, I want this corporate contract, I want this, I want that. And see, when people tell me, well, you can do this, but you can't use the word, you can't use the name of God, you can't reference the Bible, you can't do this, you can't do, well, I ain't your girl. I ain't what the world say. I ain't built like that. I can't do that. I got one message only. I'm too old to be making all of these adjustments and all of these changes to fit into an algorithm that's going to change in 6 months. I'm going to change my entire life for an algorithm or something that's going to change again every 3, 4, 5, 6 months. And then I got to relearn it again. You just going to have to learn me. Because the message don't change. Truth takes action. Truth does what needs to be done. Truth don't make a whole lot of noise. Truth is what it is. Pay attention. Your eyes are like headlights. Your eyes are shining. Your eyes are focused outward. Your eyes are there to help you to see where heaven needs you to move so that your blessing can be placed in the places that it needs to be positioned so that it's a win-win for everyone. If everything that you're doing is what about me? What is it about me? How can I get more likes? How can I get more money? How can I get more this? How can I get... Then you need to just go ahead and work for the world. My message is not for the ones that want everything that the world has. 12 hours for God, 12 hours for man. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and render unto God what is God's. You need balance in your life. You need balance every day. See, the world teaches us that we can work, hustle, grind, and then take a 2-week vacation and then pick it all up again. No, ma'am. No, sir. I need balance every day. I need a nap every day. And people that say stupid stuff like, yes, stupid. And I normally don't say things are stupid, but this is stupid. I'll sleep when I'm dead. I'll rest when I'm dead. Well, you're going to be dead sooner than you want to be because your body needs rest. It's encoded in the process, y'all. Joy is encoded in the process. Laughter is encoded in the process. Peace is encoded in the process. Pain is encoded in the process. Healing is encoded in the process. It's all about balance. Provision. So y'all have fun with this today. I came on because I was being radically obedient and I needed to do this so that I could go on and move on with my day. Provision school will be starting soon. I'm getting my schedule together, rearranging some things so that we can make sure that this happens consistently and without any interruption. In addition to that, we are starting our journaling through, what are we journaling through this time? Procrastination. We're doing our journaling through procrastination challenge next. So for those of you who are catching by replay, those of you who are catching, however you catching it, this is the next journal. We will start Monday at 5 a.m. 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 a.m. You shouldn't have any excuses. And this is one of the reasons why, see, when you're doing stuff for God, God eliminates all of the excuses. And even the people that do have legit excuses, there are a few people in our community, they work the graveyard shift or the overnight shift. And one young lady, she hides out in closets at the time. It's hilarious. She said, I'm going to get this in. 5 a.m., I'm going to be there. See, you have some decisions to make. If you want to join us, You make that decision to join us. This is all about eliminating procrastination. And this is not your mama's journal. And this is not going to be the traditional journaling topics of how to get rid of just worldly procrastination. This is going to be a spiritual, mental, and physical approach to it. How is procrastination keeping you from your blessing? How is procrastination robbing you of your time? How is procrastination? And a lot of times procrastination isn't what you think it is. Join us. And we want to make it so easy for you to join us that we have actually cut the price in half. You can, and bring a friend. This is how important this work is for me and to my my assistant and our team. Join us. The link is here. I think this is the link. If I did it right. See, I can't be doing this stuff by myself, but Cynthia's going to... somebody click the link and see if that works. But you can do one challenge and bring a friend for $25. $25. Bring a friend. You plus a friend for $25. Buy one, bring one. Buy one, bring one. Go ahead, click the link. Reserve now. Yeah, see, this is why this is not my ministry. Administration is not my ministry. I just popped the link up in there and didn't put no title or nothing. But anyway, this is I'm going to try it again. The procrastination challenge. Y'all stop procrastinating. Stop procrastinating. Your provision is on the other side of that procrastination. It is on the other side of that procrastination. There we go. I think I put it in right. Procrastination challenge. See, I did that. I put that up there. So y'all can click on that. Go ahead, register now. Register. $25. You ain't got nothing to lose. And if you want your $12.50 back or whatever, tell your friend that just cash up you the $12.50. We're gonna both do this together. Now it does not include the physical journal. Okay, this is the e-version of the journal. If you want a physical journal, then you have to hit Cynthia up for the physical journal. But this is for the e-version. You get the e-version plus you get the challenge, the 5 a.m. challenge. Now, you don't get the recordings and all of that of all of the other archive calls. I ain't crazy. Now, I gotta do my due diligence. Part of this is worldly stuff, and part of this is spiritual stuff. I gotta operate in the world. I gotta pay my taxes. I gotta do all of those things. If you're in the world, there's certain things that you have to do. You're gonna have to fill out the forms. You're gonna have to pay the taxes. You're gonna have to do those things, but you don't have to be consumed by the world. So share this out. Procrastination. If you in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever, and you, honey, if this comes out your mouth and you say, I'm going to wait and do it I'm going to wait till next time. I don't say that no more. If God has allowed it to cross my path and it has crossed my path for a reason, it has crossed my path for a reason. I don't say nothing like that no more because I don't know. I'm going to do it next time. You making a whole lot of assumptions. You making a whole lot of assumptions that I will be doing it again next time. You making assumptions that I will be here next time. You making assumptions that you will be here next time. When God gives you something to do and you know that God has allowed it to cross your path, it behooves you greatly to get that thing done. Just this week. Timing is everything. I don't know, some of y'all on the Facebook wall and I was up one night. I made a post about timing is everything and I put it on the wall. Because God was dealing with me. God was like, timing is everything. You got to do things at the right time. You got to do things at the time that heaven gives you to do it. That was a spiritual download. Let me tell y'all something. So I have a day gig. I work a day gig. At my day gig, we have like this monthly newsletter that comes out for our department. And God was like, and I normally don't open, if anybody on here from my job, I read every word of the newsletter, but sometimes I don't open it up right away. So God was like, open this newsletter up. And I clicked on it. And the first thing, maybe I can do a snippet of it and show y'all. I love documentation. I love some documentation because when God documents it, I know it's a done deal. So I told you I had posted that thing like 2 nights prior to this, and I opened up the newsletter, and the first thing that I saw in the newsletter that they have put in there, what did it say, y'all? It said, timing is everything. Timing is everything. So the message matched, and what God was showing me is that even the world understands this. The world understands that timing is everything, and because the world understands that timing is everything, the world wants to rob you of your time so that the world can have more power. So y'all stop playing. Stop playing. So go ahead and register for the procrastination challenge. I put the link out there. Share it out with everybody. Buy it for some people. Share it with some people. Everybody needs this challenge. Everybody needs the procrastination challenge. Everybody needs the forgiveness work. Everybody needs provision school. Everybody needs life path years. Because if you out in the world, you need to balance all of that stuff spiritually. You got to have some balance. This work is not meant to be a replacement for your church. This work is not meant to be a replacement for anything. This work is meant to be a supplement. You know how you eat? You eat food and you eat, and then they tell you that this don't have all the nutrients that it's supposed, and you do your vitamin supplements. You do your supplements to supplement, to fill in the spaces and the gaps where the food may not be doing what it needs to do. You drink your beet juice. You drink all of this other stuff to give you the leverage to fill in the gaps. That's what this work is. Go on out there and work your 40-hour-a-week jobs. Go on out there, club like you need to. Go on out there and do what you need to do in the world. But supplement it with something so that you don't remain out of balance. And learn to use your eyes to see more than just yourself. Because see, in order to see yourself, you got to stand in front of a mirror. And if you stand in front of a mirror and all you're doing is admiring your own image, I don't care how much you do in that mirror. I don't care how much your image follows you. You're not making any progress because you're still stuck in the mirror. You can put all your makeup on in the mirror. You can talk all of your affirmations in the mirror. But that makeup and those affirmations and all of that self-talk don't mean nothing until you get into the world to see if it really works. So y'all have fun with this today. I was not planning on being on here an hour or more, but it is what it is. I pray that you garnered what you needed to garner from this. Share out the information about the procrastination challenge. We start on Monday at 5 a.m. and you'll be in good hands with this challenge. I'm very excited about where God is taking us. I love you all. Have a wonderful Saturday. Have a wonderful weekend. I'm praying for you. Continue to pray for me. And I will see all of y'all real soon. Love you all. Have a good one.